Okay, I'd like to discuss this knife for a second. I colored the wrappings with marker. That's why it looks like that now. It better simulates natural fiber. Anyway, the reason why I made the knife like this is because I think this is probably the most common knife shape in the Americas. Okay, in my opinion, other than the simple triangle blade. This has a stem on it. Now, I already tried to do this video once and the microphone was acting up. Hopefully it'll work this time. Anyway, the blade looks like this. This blade has a stem on it. And it's ground down here on these sides, right where you see the dotted lines or the dots. It's ground on this particular blade. All right, so it has a thinning flake on one side, like a little flute. Anyway, I think it's elm, so that's why I put elm bark here. What I did to create the notch was I drilled a hole first. That's what that is. I drilled a hole first, so I'll make one of these on video with stone tools. I'll just drill a hole in there in a stick first and then split out the top part and carve it so that the stem will fit. Alright, I'll do that all on video eventually, hopefully soon. Okay, and I just shape it. It's easy to shape with a stone tool, relatively easy, or an adze. I could take one of these adze and do the shaping, or I can use a large flake. Okay, so you'll notice that I've wrapped up on the blade, and on some points there is actual grinding. Like on Wilson points, there's grinding here on the lower part of the blade. The Wilson type also has notches, which is a little bit different than this, but the stemmed point I think is the most common point through all time periods. And in this area, in the New England area, there's a lot of stemmed points, and some of them are ground, made out of slate and other materials, bone, and let's see, I think shale is actually on the list. There's also some of these points made from rhyolite. I need to find the rhyolite if it's around here. And of course quartzite. So I'll be making some of these types of blades from local material. Now this particular piece of material was a large piece of chert that I had a lot of trouble with last night, and I was wondering what to do with it because I couldn't thin it down, and the lower area was all wonky and stuff, so I just narrowed it down and I just made a knife out of it. If you want to do this with natural material instead of thread, I use thread to simulate natural fiber, natural plant fiber. You can use sisal fibers from sisal twine. You just need to undo or separate the fibers in the twine. You just buy twine at the hardware store, sisal twine, not jute, but sisal twine. You can see the difference. The sisal is lighter in color, and you just unravel the twine and you'll get long strands of the sisal fiber, and you can wrap. Now when you use thin strands like this, grinding is advantageous because it won't cut the thin strands when you start wrapping. Now you don't need to grind the sides if you use sinew. Sinew doesn't cut the same way, but if you use thin strands, and a lot of thin strands, yeah, it'll cut the thin strand. So that leads me to believe that a lot of these were hafted with thin strands, several wrappings, many wrappings of thin strands of plant fiber. Okay, and I wrapped up on the blade because some of these are ground here, and or have a restriction or a constriction in this area, which looks like they would wrap it down here on the blade. I did do some cross hatching, which is probably not necessary, but I guess it'll strengthen it a little bit. So that's why I did it this way. Okay, so I'll be using these in upcoming videos, this type of blade. I'll be making one of these. I sold one already, made out of Kanawha gray. I was going to do this with that blade. Anyway, I'll show the whole process eventually. What else was I going to say? I think that's it. I just have to redo this particular video because the microphone's acting up, and I think it's my phone because this is the second microphone that's making the buzzing noises. So it's probably my phone. Oh well. Yeah, I did not use natural glue. This is artificial hot melt, modern hot melt glue. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, I'm going to use this as a saw actually because this is really tough material, and I'll be using it as a saw, not necessarily a knife. All right.